yeah, that is the secrets out now, guys. I'm now natty again. Right, and we are back. And as you can tell by the title of the video, it's going to be a pretty interesting and exciting video. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering why it is titled that. However, I didn't want to do another kind of sitting down just talking to the camera video, because I feel like some of you might be getting a bit bored of them. So we're going to show a tiny bit more content around the topic of the video, just to keep it a little bit spicy, you know. So it is about midday. I have had meal one. We are going to go and train pool today, come back, eat some food. I've then got a sports therapist session. We're going to go and get my knee looked at because it is still been giving me grief. Also, I did just receive a free tub of pre-workout, which is exciting. So we got this. So it's HTLT supplements, which I've absolutely never heard of before. Could be terrible, could be really good, but we're gonna give this pre-workout a little try because it is reasonably early on in the day, so I'm happy to have a little bit of caffeine. There's only 100 milligrams per scoop. This is the ingredients panel, if you can see that. And it is sour rainbow candy flavour. We're just gonna do one scoop, 12 o'clock, so it's still nice and early in the day. Plenty of time for that caffeine to clear out my system. But anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna get to the gym, smash a pool session, and I'll see you guys in the gym. Right, I don't know why I'm saying goodbye, because I haven't even flipping tried the pre-workout, which obviously all of you are here to see. So let's crack this open. Oh, well, that didn't work. Okay. There we go. Okay. I mean, you can never really tell by the smell of a pre-workout anyway, but it smells okay. We are going to dry scoop it just because I really cannot be arsed right now to mix it with water and get a cup and everything. However, I do not recommend taking pre-workout this way because I have heard of a couple horror stories. However, that tends to be with much more highly caffeinated pre-workout. I think the most important thing is making sure you chase it down with a ton of water. As long as you do that, it's going to dilute in your stomach anyway before it gets absorbed into the bloodstream. But yeah, don't do this at home, kids. Chin chin. Ooh. Just inhale the pre-workout particles like up my airway. There's a bit of an aftertaste. It genuinely, that aftertaste does remind me of Skittles, which is quite interesting how they've managed to achieve that. The initial flavour is reasonably sweet, but it's also nothing crazy. I wouldn't say it's like super nice. I'd say the initial flavour of this, 6 out of 10. Not amazing, not terrible by any means. It tastes fine. You know what, 6.5, we'll give it 6.5. And now, the only thing left to do is see how it helps us in the gym. Thank you to HTLT Supplements for sending me this. Not sponsored, also not required to even post this on anything. So yeah, shout out to HTLT. Anyway, without further ado, let's get some gains, baby. Little ab check. Okay, that was a bit less impressive than I thought it was going to be. The peakness of natural lighting. Right, peace and love. See you in the gym.
I don't know how well you can hear me because the mic is no longer attached, but they've just arrived and the tingles set in big time. So they're definitely given a decent kick with the beta adenine. If you guys haven't had beta adenine before, it's the thing that kind of makes you feel tingly. May or may not help with performance, but it's also just quite fun sometimes to take pre-workout and actually feel it working. Just about to get into the workout, starting off with some single arm upper pull downs. So let's get to it.
No! Hi, my name's Jess. I'm a sports therapist and I work for My Body X. So any point that you feel like pain or tenderness, let me know, right?
My ass is sweating really bad though. Pre-warning, might have a bit of bum sweat.
These bum sweats.
Me, all the time. Adam must.
Everyone in the comments, can you tell us if you get bum sweat? Because from experience, I don't think it causes bum sweat. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Peace. So we're now going to talk about the title of this video and speaking about why I am stopping taking steroids. Well, technically I have at this point of recording. The funny thing is, last time I was sitting here, I was literally talking about all of the reasons why I was going to start taking steroids, and now I'm sitting here talking about why I'm stopping taking steroids. How the turntables. I was taking steroids for approximately 6 months, a little bit more than 6 months. I started off on 150 milligrams of testosterone enanthate per week, and I titrated that up to 250 milligrams of testosterone enanthate per week across that whole period gradually. And at this point of recording the video, I have not done an injection for about 4.5, 5 weeks, and I will be making another video explaining how this period of not taking anything, coming off cold turkey, has been, what it has felt like to have 0 testosterone in my body for a period of time, going into all of those juicy details, but that is for another video. So yeah, I'm going to go through, there's a couple different categories of reasons, and collectively putting all of those reasons together has essentially made me come to this decision. Firstly, we have productivity. To explain this, so what I started to notice pushing into my off season, eating more and more calories, and the most calories I'd ever had to eat in an off season or a muscle gaining phase before. So I was up to 5,300 calories on training days and 5,000 rest days. This is the first time I had to push up to 5 meals a day, and every single meal was 1,000 calories or more, which, as you can imagine, is a hefty amount of food. Like, every single meal, guys, I was eating out of one of these, and this was over halfway full for pretty much every single meal. As big as my head, and I've got a big head. This took me about at least like 20 minutes, maybe half an hour to eat, especially when I didn't feel hungry. Like, obviously you eat a bit slow and you don't feel hungry. That's what, say half an hour for each meal. That's 2.5 hours eating. Then on top of that, you've got to think of the time it takes to prep for meals. That's another at least maybe 15 minutes for each meal. So that's another like hour and 15 minutes. So we're getting towards 4 hours for just food every single day. Then 2 to 3 hours in the gym, including travel there and back. That's 7 hours of the day gone just to eating the food that I needed to and training in the gym, getting the training that I need to done 5 times a week. 7 hours a day, that's a lot of time, but I still had time outside of that. However, the problem was eating that amount of food, guys. I don't know if you've ever had like just a huge meal or like a big pizza or something, or just like a ton of carbohydrates in a meal. You always have like what's called a carb coma, where you just basically feel so tired after eating that amount of food, and that was literally what I experienced the entire day for the period of time that I was eating. I'd say anything above 4,000, 4,500 calories. For the entire day, I had brain fog, I felt fatigued, I had low motivation for work, like my brain just felt like just switched off because my body was just constantly processing these carbs. When I got in the gym and got going, yes, it was fine because I was utilizing that food and that energy, but any time outside of the gym, I was just like fatigued, couldn't concentrate. And what I found is, yes, like some days you kind of just you just push through it, and I did push through it, but when you're just constantly feeling low on energy, unmotivated, it does get to the point where your kind of discipline just starts to like run low, and you start just procrastinating, you start being lazy, you start not doing the work that you should be doing. And it started getting to that point, guys, and I knew this was only the start. Like, as I progressed within my bodybuilding, I would be eating more calories, and yes, that would have subsided on prep, but prep is only what, a couple months every maybe 2 years, depending on how often you're competing. Whereas the off season is the prime bulk of your bodybuilding career, especially when you're looking to get to like the high level. And it's just one of those things where I started to realize I am trading off so much productivity day to day for this goal of bodybuilding. I started to like question whether it was worth it, and whether feeling a lot more productive day to day, having a lot more energy, a lot more drive, and also not spending as much time eating, prepping food, as much time in the gym, whether I was going to succeed way more taking that approach compared to the large majority of my bodybuilding career being bogged down by food, low on energy, struggling with productivity. Is it worth putting myself through that day in, day out for the large majority of that kind of bodybuilding career period compared to the other potential route? And I started to think, maybe it's not. That's one of the big reasons for sure why I'm making this decision, at least for now. Reason number 2 is acne. Although my acne was and has never really been to a point throughout this entire journey, like this enhanced journey, it never got to the point where it was like unbearable or really bad, but I definitely noticed it slowly but surely getting worse. And bear in mind, I was only on 250 milligrams of testosterone and anthate. Long story short, the more drugs I was going to take, which was going to happen over time, the worse it was going to get. And bear in mind, I was pretty much taking every other precaution to try and calm it down, to try and prevent the acne, and I was still getting spots. Only really on my back, but even just having it on my back, especially as a bodybuilder, that's a big part of my physique. And I just really did not like the idea of that getting worse. Obviously, when you get spots, it scars. If you consistently get them, you get more scarring, and it just really doesn't look good. Dampens your confidence for sure. The only option was going to be Accutane, which is a very harsh drug that essentially dries out your skin and will clear up spots for sure, but it has its potential side effects. So that wasn't really something I wanted to have to do. So that's kind of another reason why I decided to take a step back from the steroids, is because the acne was just going to get worse and it wasn't something that I was willing to push. And point number 3 is, and this is a reasonably important one, but also it's not the main point, and that is just that competition standards within bodybuilding is getting progressively more elite. The physiques that are coming up through the industry are just becoming more and more crazy. And there is literally so much insane talent out there, guys. And yes, I say talent with extreme emphasis, and that is because, as I said before, bodybuilding is a genetic sport, okay? If you do not have the genetics for bodybuilding, you are not gonna get to like the Olympia level of bodybuilding. It's just the facts. Like, hard work carries you through, hard work beats talent. And that is true if talent doesn't work hard, but if talent works, I don't know, anything over 50% as hard as you do, if you're not so talented, they are probably gonna beat you. It's just the way it is when it comes to bodybuilding. That's not me being like negative or unmotivated about the whole journey, because those of you who know me, I'm not that kind of guy. I like to think hard work can take you a long way. If you put your mind to things, you can achieve it. And that is I still definitely agree with that in most circumstances, but the more I get into the industry, the more I learn, the more I progress, the more I'm realizing how much of a genetic sport this is and how much you can only work around that to an extent to get to where you want to be. Like, you see all of these top men's physique guys all have ridiculously small waists, ridiculously wide backs, and they didn't just achieve that by working hard, okay? That is just their genetic structure. And you look at my genetic structure, I have reasonable genetics, don't get me wrong, but they are definitely not in the top tier of genetics, okay? I still think I could, with a couple years, get a pro card, but when it comes to then getting to the Olympia, I really just don't think it's realistic, unless I wanted to maybe potentially do it for like the next 15, maybe even longer years of my life. I think dedicating my life for the next 10, 15 years to bodybuilding would prevent me from being able to experience a lot of life, travel, do these things that I want to, and it would almost certainly take many years off of my life. I'm not willing to trade off 10, 20 years of my life, maybe longer, that I could be spending with my family, seeing my kids grow up, experiencing life, being happy, X, Y, Z. Yes, I think bodybuilding is amazing. It's been an amazing part of my life, and I will continue to progress within bodybuilding, but I'm very confident that I could grow so much more success for myself. Success in all areas, relationships, friendships, career, business. I think taking this other route, taking the natural route, I am going to be able to grow so much more as an individual. However, this is not a permanent decision, okay? I have not taken a step back from bodybuilding really the entire time I've kind of been committed to this process, which has been years and years and years, okay? So I do not 100% know any of these things are going to be the case, but this is a trial period, so we're going to give it a try for X amount of months. I'm not putting a time limit on it, and just see how it goes, guys. Yeah, that is the secret's out now, guys. I'm now natty again. I hope you all, as per usual, appreciate the transparency and the openness and honesty with my experience, my journey. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.